This is the finals, the game show where you get to show off your flair while you impress the many sponsors of the show in this virtual reality battlefield. Dazzle your opponents and stand out in the eyes of many around the world as you not only dress to impress, but fight your way to fame and riches in this dynamic, ever-evolving arena. But the dust has settled and we have had a jam-packed season as we make our way through the second season with the introduction of the Hacker Group CNS and other content. Let's take a look at what the future has in store for the finals. To the uninitiated, the premise is simple. Get some bread and coins or lockboxes and cash them out. It takes time to finish, so you might have to fend off some onlookers looking to steal your payout. And it doesn't even take 10 minutes, usually. Whatever they were cooking up in Embark Studios sure was seasoned to perfection, as everything about this class-based, objective-oriented shooter is fresh and oozing with flavor. Just go in and take the money, bring it to the cash-out station, all while engaging with some fast-paced, twitchy, shooty action. Take your pick from light, medium, or heavy contestants, each equipped with different weapons and abilities to suit a wide range of playstyles. You're never going to get the full finals experience anywhere else. You can argue that if you're tired of Valorant, you can play CSGO or Dota and League, but with the finals, it's so fresh and unique that there's nothing quite like it. They might imitate closely to certain aspects like Apex Trios or Overwatch abilities, but it's not the whole deal. It's that special hole-in-the-wall food place. They have that special sauce, that secret family recipe, a recipe only Embark Studio has achieved and you can't find it anywhere else. This is probably why it's hard to describe what is the finals without using existing games as comparison to different aspects of the game, such as a slightly watered-down Apex style movement, trio squads with Overwatch-like abilities, fully destructible maps like Battlefield, and a highly competitive playing field similar to Valorant or CS. Surprisingly, the game performs well even with all the hardware demanding destruction. The static, baked-in lighting looks really pretty without you needing a supercomputer, but there's always the option to turn it on and make the lighting dynamic. The game looks gorgeous either way. The aesthetic might not be cohesive at all or not as strong identity-wise, but you can't argue against the rule of cool, a VR game that's also a game show. That justifies why someone is in an alien jumpsuit shooting someone in full cowboy gear. But it isn't always sunshine and rainbows in this virtual world. Much like the many sponsors of the game show, people lose interest when there's nothing to be interested in. From version 1.0, a new hip and trendy shooter is free to play, and free to play means free to check out. The massive numbers are most probably from the novelty of a new way to play a team-oriented class-based shooter. And as time went on, the average concurrent players, on Steam at least, have been on a steady decline. A few reasons come to mind. Friends can't play a local game with each other for fun. If I had 3 friends online down to play the finals, we can't even do a 2v2 custom match with each other, and that's a bummer. This quells any desire to host local tournaments for higher levels of play in a theoretical esports scene. Is it necessarily a bad thing to focus on fun and not promote high-level things such as tournaments? Not really, but having the option isn't a bad idea. They also seem to have been holding back on content from us until the arrival of the second season, since there has been a lot of early focus on balancing out options in the game. From guns to utilities, a lot of them have changed throughout the lifespan so far. This means that most meaningful changes on the gameplay loop are less about new content like guns, maps, utilities, or abilities, but rebalancing things to make them less frustrating to play against. This ends up feeling like a waste to some since they're not letting this game play out and develop degenerate strategies and counter strategies like C4 plus canisters or nukes. The focus on nerfing strong things instead of buffing weak things to even everything out across the board feels out of place in a frantic, fast-paced shooter that borders on the absurd. Focus on balance can end up watering down and limiting player options and creativity, which may have been what got them hooked in the first place. My nukes, no. The changes in the aim assist are huge though. With the added complication of an ever-changing environment in mind, it is crucial to have the aim assist toned down. It's practically a built-in aimbot if you're playing on a controller, so having it go bye-bye is a sign that the devs listen to the player base and are doing what they can to keep the enjoyment up. For comparison, it's still a problem in Apex. So while the game may have issues in retention and keeping the momentum at a healthy pace, it isn't all that bad since they have been listening and have been providing. Season 2 is here and no one could have predicted what was in store. We've gotten everything we've asked for and more. Never doubt Embark when it comes to delivering. It's great that the devs are very open with communicating what's been going on behind the scenes without giving away too much information. It's mostly reassurance that everything is fine and that there's more to come in future updates. This quells any uncertainty that most live service gamers innately have, and it's getting their game discontinued. There have been games with communicative and passionate devs that still ended up with the same fate. So while it sounds we are telling you two things at once, get excited and be careful. It would help to be carefully optimistic, just as the devs intended with their no roadmap approach. We only need to wait for updates. And skeptically waiting we did. They have kept it varied enough to keep some people interested. The expectation for it to become the Apex and Fortnite killer is wild, but they managed to hold it down and stand on business. The exciting chock full of events in Season 1 and going beyond the expectations with Season 2 is more than proof enough that the devs know what they're doing. Whenever the devs are asked in interviews or through their official Discord if they have any sort of roadmap for the game in the coming year, they respond with, "Nah, we don't want to overpromise and disappoint our fans." Many see this as a negative, but is that such a bad thing? It keeps them from overpromising anything that can further disappoint this diminishing fanbase. However, this can be a problem because keeping everyone in the dark, no matter how good you are at communicating, because they do talk to fans of the game on their Discord, can leave people feeling discouraged and having nothing to look forward to in playing the game. But when does that wanting and talking even end? I'm sure players would want more and be spoiled with it, and want more and still complain, and the consistent weekly updates and occasional events are good. Updates and content or not, what we've been given so far has been quality. Not to mention these are just free updates as well. No paywall to new content, no spin-off versions, Rainbow Six Siege Extraction, no nothing. The Christmas events steal the spotlight and smoking guns were all sort of fun new ways to play the finals. So far, the updates have been interesting and nothing here shows the lack of promise and quality. It seems like we can trust them with whatever it is they're planning on doing next. And it's finally here! Season 2 came out the gate with everything we ever wanted from them. As a quick rundown, here's Season 2. Each weight class received new abilities that were way beyond what anyone expected of them. This brings new ways to approach the game as some of them are straight up out of a cartoon. Everyone has new guns and utilities that will switch up the playing field too. I'm just not that big of a fan of this shotgun the Heavy got. It's just so bad. I mean, how are you supposed to kill with this thing? At least the anti-gravity cube is useful. I think the mediums win this season as they were given the most in this update. A new burst fire rifle for those who can't pin people down? The FAMAS is here! They also get a new utility item that deals with those pesky turret plus mine setups that hole up on the objective. Introducing the Data Reshaper. Turn their turrets and mines into a 2-chair, 2-vase, and disable their defenses to move in on the cash out. And the light... Oh, sorry about that. It seems we got a bit of interference. The lights got the 93R, a burst fire pistol that packs a punch. Youch, pair this up with the new gateway and they're sure to find their use in the game now. I mean, find the flank on their opponents. We even have a new game mode that fits right in the finals called Power Shift. It's like the escort game mode in Overwatch and Team Fortress 2, but the payload is a platform and you're asking to get bombed, gassed, and sniped from afar. To add to the chaos, it's played 5-on-5 and you can switch classes and loadouts however many times you want. And if you're wondering, the platform is a giant magnet with coins at the bottom to not lose the whole cashing out theme. And speaking of cashing out, cash out those in-game stats into the game's new contract that allows you to earn new cosmetics just by playing. All for free courtesy of our sponsor, Ozpews. Pop, pour, perform. And if you're willing to spend a little cash, check out the Battle Pass. The cosmetics are uniquely the finals and are incredibly high quality for how much they're worth. Nothing brings in the new season like a CRT TV head character or your typical edgelord outrun aesthetic hooded hacker. It doesn't get any better than this. Until it does, because a new feature everyone's been waiting for has been added. We even talked about it earlier, private custom lobbies. Gone with the fourth friend feeling out of place, now you can set your lobbies up to play with friends in your private arena. And with arenas come Horizon. Still don't know what to say about this. Brought to you by your sponsor, CNS. And I don't know about you, but the introduction of a hacker group to destabilize the popular game show The Finals is right at home with whatever vibe that just makes sense Embark Studios is pulling off. The addition is so immersive that when there are game-breaking bugs like a cash box getting stuck inside the floor, or when there are blatant hackers, I just thought to myself, man, That's amazing. But for real though, I love you, Embark. Please fix these. It happens often, but I'm having too much fun to even notice it sometimes. You know what? I feel spoiled. They did a stellar job with the weekly updates and content that got me thinking about a wish list. Here are a few things I'd like to see in the future updates. For guns, give me something that arcs lightning, maybe a laser gun, or a literal railgun that goes through structures and deals massive damage. For abilities, maybe something with fake clones and decoys, maybe a jetpack? Or how about a wall of light where you can't see through it but you can shoot and walk through it? They should probably add a sort of perk system that could alter how you can play without drastically changing it too much to divulge from the light, medium, heavy concept. They can improve on the movement of the game since it doesn't feel too smooth at faster paces and suffers compared to other games with years on their back. It doesn't feel as fluid and if you want to know more about movement in games, check this video out. And to top it all off, a pirate themed map for Power Shift where there's gold doubloons everywhere and the platform is pirate themed. I'm sure it's not too early to say we can't wait for what they'll pull off in season 10 of the finals. So, are you ready for something else? The initial disappointment in the game is coming from people's excitement and expectations not being met within the first few months of release. Granted, it was around Christmas time and the devs are definitely on vacation, but that's been easily curbed by the introduction of the new season. The game is young and they have time to polish it. This is precisely why there is no roadmap, but that also has its pros and cons. But so far, the pros have been overshadowing the cons. The game carries a lot of potential to become a mainstay for a lot of gamers, and a lot of us can identify that it does have potential, even if we can't properly word it out as a community. They even have a grasp on good-looking guns. Being functional is optional. Beautiful and immersive maps that just make sense, and incredibly creative abilities and utility that add new ways to play the game. With the way they've been handling updates as of late, the future of the finals might just be set, and it's all going up from here. No copium. With a very young game with tons of potential and Season 2 delivering and exceeding expectations, all we can do is wait and trust that they won't fumble this bag. They seem to have not missed so far, so there's very little reason to worry. So, see you in the arena, player.